Hi there, I'm Arben Kane. So just a little bit of background on me. I've been in tech for 35 years, 20 years in disaster management. So I've built disaster management platforms for now that are deployed in 93 countries. So created solutions that basically help citizens, but also brought in stakeholders like responders, governments, other agencies that actually wanted to have insights so that they can make better decisions. In the last 10 years, I got stuck in crypto, primarily because one friend of mine that I met years ago said, hey, Bitcoin is for value transfer in a trustless environment. And that kind of stuck with me because I knew what that meant in a disaster scenario, and especially with the current emergence of resilience issues and adaptive resilience. And for me, really, the challenge has been really this adoption issue of blockchain. It's not working primarily because we've created a token-gated experience by going Web3 first and really forgetting about how a product actually needs to evolve into something that becomes sticky, becomes about the user experience and the value transfer so that the user actually understands why they're actually engaging with that application and what they're getting from it. And personally, I'm definitely a degen on multiple frontiers, from mining, staking, NFTs, lost plenty on that. Been involved in lots of DeFi projects like Badger, Fox with Shapeshift, IOTA in regards to protocols. And I've seen kind of the evolutionary steps of this R&D lab that I call our blockchain industry. And the core issue that I really saw is that the user and the dApps are taking all the risk, and I don't see them actually getting the rewards for taking the risk. Most of us get basically wrecked, exploited, constantly exploited. Don't we want to engage with the contract because we don't know if the Cloudflare got hacked and we're actually in the right domain, but for some reason it's been rerouted to a agency that's trying to make sure that they get our Bitcoin, right? And so my main thing has been, okay, how do we actually create a solution that allows us to emerge into something new? An experience that is really UX focused, and it's really a solution that is an Apple-esque or Shopify kind of experience. So what if blockchain was for everyone without actually, one of the core issues I see is that engineers have been building our solutions almost like talking to other engineers and saying, hey, look, I built this amazing dApp. Isn't it cool what kind of yield it can generate? I can bridge between protocols. All of that really basically is not talking to the everyday consumer. So I feel like we're losing ourselves in that translation. And where I want to basically take it with Incentiv is change the real narrative to simplicity. So instead of complexity and speculation, where it's almost like, yeah, meme coins are great because it allows us to engage and transition out of boredom because we were bored out of the bear market. We want to move ourselves in the bull market. But I don't feel like that's really how major adoption is going to occur in our industry. And the way I look at it is that simplicity is really about the user not even knowing what protocol they're on, but for them to actually engage in it so it's an easy flow that actually has no friction built in. And so my main thing is really about merging the value that we're trying to convey and the experience. And that's really where I'm going at. And what I mean with that is, like, I'll give you a perfect example. When I look at my history on engaging in engineering and building solutions for clients, I look at a perfect pivot point of when WordPress basically came to the forefront. And all of a sudden, it became more accessible for business owners and users to just create their own website instead of having to fight for resources like we're fighting right now for Solidity developers that are actually any good. Or a major point was Shopify came into the industry, and all of a sudden, we're able to drag and drop, create a store, customize it, and I don't even have to know CSS. Can educate myself a little bit on JavaScript and customize it and create an amazing user experience. And the shopper or my client basically can purchase anything without having to worry about if they have a MetaMask wallet or what protocol they need to switch on. And I think that's really the focus of Incentiv, is how do I actually build something that really connects all the dots and incentivizes all the stakeholders without actually compromising their security or their engagement, and rewards them actually from day one. And our unique approach is really how do we create a very smooth onboarding experience? How do we make sure the user actually earns through the engagement? And how the dApp developer actually earns through the engagement that they are receiving on the network? And how do we really always keep centric that major point of human-centric design? Because that to me is what actually is allowing and continuing the experience to be so fruitful that they continue to engage and don't go into the frustration of losing their assets or losing their patience because something in a transaction didn't go through, it's now stuck, and they had to figure out through a YouTube video how to actually lodge out their assets or figure out how to actually remove the priority of their transaction so they can actually re-engage with the application. So going from that desperation to actually an experience that is smooth and definitely the kind of experience that we want to deliver that creates a frictionless engagement. So as an example, and you'll be able to see the demos at our booth, we have created an Incentiv Studio similar to like a Shopify engagement structure where you can actually plug in, drag and drop basically certain features, engage with the blockchain without actually having to know any coding, and actually enable your dApp to run on our chain. And that in itself really creates a much smoother onboarding on dApp developers, user experiences, so that you don't have to know Solidity to actually engage with Incentiv. You just need to know what is your business case. We're also working on an AI-enabled Incentiv Studio so that you as a developer or a business owner can say, this is the case that I want to solve, and that basically Incentiv Studio Plus gives you actually all the right tools and steps to actually directly integrate through a plug-and-play solution into a dApp publishing that basically is smooth and doesn't require you to hire developers, and it'll actually do an audit on the fly as well, so that it'll find the vulnerabilities that you might have on your application and what kind of issues actually you might run into. So for me, this is a game changer because that's the main reason why I'm interested in it, because it applies towards even applications that I've built, games that I've deployed, dApps that I've deployed, that I can actually now transition to something that I don't have to worry about how the blockchain works. I just care about onboarding users and actually making sure that engagement drives my value delivery and therefore has a higher success rate for me as a dApp developer and ecosystem builder. So you can see that it's a simple drag and drop solution, bringing the elements in there, setting up basically the functionality settings, and then actually being able to really run it in real time, test it, and actually deploy it into our marketplace. As I mentioned, enabling it through AI so that the artificial intelligence actually understands what our puzzle pieces are that we're enabling, understands actually our protocol and its abilities, the transaction speeds, but then also understands what kind of user we're dealing with without actually disclosing the user's information. That's very key to me in regards to what Incentiv is trying to create. Again, it's in the name. I want to make sure that Incentiv is in the whole ecosystem of our engagement, not just trying to siphon off, giving you a token, and then hopefully we run into another bull market. I think those times are over. It's time to actually deliver a Shopify-like experience in the blockchain industry so that we can actually really build for growth. So because we have actually spent a lot of capital building a lot of dApps, a lot of protocols, and I don't think it has resulted into what we actually wanted. And I've surrounded myself with amazing UI experts, amazing engineers to basically achieve this goal. But in addition to that, what I really am looking forward to is being able to actually onboard design partners, and I'll introduce shortly one of them, that basically allows us to tokenize assets in the right way to deliver that value from day one. So instead of just building a solution without actually having design partners and then hoping that people adopt it, from day one we've been working with design partners and industry leaders to actually build a solution that we know they will adopt because they're giving us the feedback loop that then actually achieves the goal and the solution that they're looking for, without having to over-educate them on what blockchain is and what the value is. I'd love for you to check our demo, see actually what we've been building, look at our roadmap, and allow us to actually build a truly adaptive resilience around blockchain, because I think that's the goal here that all of us are trying to achieve. And I would like to introduce the chairman of the board, one of our senior advisors, Mr. Madea on stage.
My name is Tadashi Maeda. I'm chairman of the board of Japan Bank for International Corporation, JBIC, which is a government bank of Japan. Also, I've served as a special advisor to the cabinet of government of Japan. My sense is that I'm now representing very conventional the financial industry, like this wear that suits and the ties. However, I think that I'm very confident that blockchain technology is a future, and in terms of technology to enable that digital currency. We are studying opportunities of digital currency, and also that eventually that a central bank may have to adopt the blockchain as a digital currency. Now that we are in front of the geopolitics between the US and China, some rivalry, and also that after the aggression by Russia to Ukraine, the US and the Europeans put a sanction on Russia using a SWIFT. But SWIFT technology is a very old-fashioned technology that probably we need to replace this technology by the blockchain, so the digital currency. So that the winner must be using the blockchain for making that digital currency, especially that the central bank digital currency. That we have a lot of study already in many central bankers and treasury, but we have some problem to solve. But for instance, Japan's the interest rate is for more than 2 decades, it's a zero interest policy. But the banks that charge the fees for cross-border, the transmittance of the money. It takes time, it takes also that cost. And also that we now have to keep carbon neutrality because of the paperback note. We have a lot of demand for the power generation. But this is not so easy, that we need to adopt the digital currency and to reduce the cost of the transportation of the paper note. And they hold that this is not that the future. Right now, we have to use this technology for data currency. And also the security, blockchain is more security, and in terms of security, the blockchain technology and also the good footprint of the early transaction is very transparent. Therefore, there's no risks for that money laundering if you use the blockchain as data currency. So that's why I'm now advising this company, and also that government in Japan will have to adopt this technology. I believe that this is not the future, now the present, that the decision-making we have to do.
And this is a perfect example of a design partner that has a clear need, and we're able to basically integrate based on those needs without overcomplicating the technology aspect of the integration. And that's truly an incentive of us for us to deliver the value that actually he is looking for, and the country is looking for. And that's exactly what my reference data is building resilience around platforms that actually deliver clear value, and that value is then monetized by actually creating the savings and the clear ability to actually grow into that ecosystem of the next revolution that we are trying to actually push forward with this blockchain industry. Thank you.